Good morning to all of you. In some sense, I spoke already yesterday. Today, I am representing Dr. Lata Pillai, who could not make it. And VC said you take this session. Well, I'll focus on the topics of the session, that is policy for ICT vis-a-vis open and distance learning. Well, one has to look at it in a deeper way. I think the word distance has to be slowly replaced by a word distributed. Because resources are distributed, students are distributed, instruction team is distributed. So where is the question? In fact, Rajarshi Tandon Open University, Uttar Pradesh, has this slogan, from Gurukul to Chhatrakul. So our challenge is really how do we design or conceptualize and manage Chhatrakul, that is a student-centered, learner-centered, learning-centered form of education. And means architecting something different. What is the main difference between what is probably possible now and what has been going on in open and distance learning? Open and distance learning, the main weakness is that there exists a lack of feedback to the students and then engaging them constantly, and also in both self-effort mode as well as peer-to-peer engagements like group discussions, field work, the classroom, attending seminars and things like that, an environment they miss. And that creates problems. You need to be highly self-motivated to be a successful scholar through the open mode. Dropout rates are high, partly because the fees are low. That is also one of the reasons. But then if I increase the fees, I must also provide the kind of assured services to justify that, then probably even they will be all right. So the first thing is, how do we establish a high quality, managed, assured, feedback driven learning system where the notion of examination must completely change, because India has trapped itself into conducting mass exam. Even in regular affiliating university, that has been the curse. The mass exam gives a convenience to do a stamping but does not impart education. Often may end up ends up distorting a learning itself. Because when you prepare students in en masse, the teacher has no role. Essentially they go through last 7 years question paper, prepare them against it, and then similar question paper is cooked up. And you see, go to any university, forget about open or regular universities, see the term and exam papers. They are pathetically weak. Basically, somehow pass so much percentage of students. There is no quality assurance. The reason is, the fundamental fact of education is that in good education system, there is a close rapport between the teacher and the student. And when you make the teacher articulate and prepare for students for a term and exam in which that teacher has no direct role, you really kill this relation. And then you build mediocrity as a consequence. So we have a tragedy of entrenched mediocrity, persistent in the system. There is no scope for improvement unless you change the assessment evaluation system itself. And now how much ICT can help, what kind of policies we should have. No doubt government has all bureaucratic policy to get out of the tangles it made itself. Like too many councils we created, 15 councils are there, I am told. And they are all working cross purposes. They fragmented the education. How can you separate science, medicine, engineering by different councils? It doesn't make any sense. Science without engineering is no base at all in engineering. Engineering without science has no base. So we have sort of, what has happened in India is the physical strength of brick and mortar institutions have vastly grown up. But the intellectual input that is required to groom the capacity of the teachers therein, etc., is just not. In fact, in 90s, I was very much party of this problem, because we were at a very steadily declining quality of students coming into the MTech program in IITs. It was in 80s, the way I could conduct MTech program was much higher in quality than the 90s, because we had to redo the fundamentals for all the students again. So essentially, and when the Naidagama committee was formed, which introduced all this mess, they said you are getting 1.5 years more to teach the undergraduates. That means 4 years education plus another 1.5 years. At that time it was 18 months MTech is considered. Then where am I to go for postgraduate? And if I don't do postgraduate, how am I going to groom teachers? So it's a kind of vicious cycle, and we got into this trap. On top of that, this AICT mess also crept in. And AICT became another body. Once you have created something called a university with its authority, why don't you trust that authority? And empower that authority, regulate that. You do have monitoring and governance systems. You can give guidelines. So we should not come between the university and its way of managing, except to the extent they should be accountable to the society. Take University of Birmingham's first Vice Chancellor founder, Joseph Chamberlain. He made a beautiful statement when he inaugurated in 1890 or something like that. He says, this university belongs to the residents of Birmingham. If any resident in this area wants to be educated in whatever field they want, the university will find a way to do it. So if a person wants to learn motorcycle repairing, they will recognize a motorcycle garage and put that fellow and give a certificate. If the fellow wants to know quantum electrodynamics, no faculty there, no problem, they will try to find a seat for him in Cambridge and try to support it. That is the kind of social responsibility commitment. All universities must balance between three things. One is excellence in their own subject, in nurturing their own faculty, and no faculty you can nurture unless there is a balanced postgraduate undergraduate mix. Okay, because a PhD student teaching undergraduate is a common thing. I was teaching as a PhD student in Canadian University. Why can't we teach here our PhD? That grooms the next generation teachers. We have pathetically low number of PhDs in the country. Whole of the country does the number of PhDs in computer science of any respectable kind is not even just barely 2 digits. Whereas China it is 1,000, 2,000 kind of number, and the United States is more. Where are we going to populate the teachers in IT? Just don't have enough output in a postgraduate level. And postgraduate institutions are very, very few. Again, that is conducted again like this mass exam type. So that the moment you bring such kind of mass exam, it means you don't trust the teacher. And so the teacher is removed from the system. So we have to bring teacher back to the system. We need policies for that. In the open and distributed learning, I can't call it, I don't want to call it open and distance learning. It is open and distributed learning. There are many ways to build excellence in using modern ICT, and we do need tremendously several changes in enabling policies to make this happen. First of all, content generation, course generation can be done by collaborations of universities, and Open University becomes the custodian of those well-designed courses. You take many subjects, you will find, take computational fluid dynamics. There will be sparse faculty. Many colleges won't have teachers. Okay, so then how will you teach? So better put a national experts team and they design. That's what we did in NPTEL. In fact, NPTEL, the National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, was created by the IITs to salvage that we can get quality students to our MTech program in IIT. And in the process probably end up giving an alternative to the engineering education and restore it back to its roots. So luckily, although it was submitted in 2000, it took 3 years, which is not at all bad by government standards to give an approval. And they speedily did it that way. By 2003, the approval came. 2004, we mobilized various professors and the IITs had to argue out, and I've been sitting through all those discussions. By 2007, we had 200 plus courses. Now we have mounted 5,200 or 5,500 hours of video lectures. They are seen all over the world, and Google fortunately has many IIT people there in their top level. They welcomed it. They hosted it free of cost for us in YouTube, both in high bandwidth mode and low bandwidth mode. High bandwidth mode is mostly inaccessible in India because of poorer internet quality. We have a 2 Mbps high resolution videos of the same thing. So these are all watched all around the world, and you can see the blogs in YouTube. We have got raving comments. Today the YouTube NPTEL channel has become the #1 viewed video internet channel of India. Not even other entertainment sectors. That is very encouraging because the society is hungry. Those who wish to learn now go to the YouTube and listen. Okay, not only here, now I understand in many other countries also now they have started doing. 70% of the visits are by Indians, which is encouraging. That means we have not lost appetite for quality education. Alright, given this trigger, how do we create an excellent education system? Alright, this is part of the instruction delivery process. There are 4 ways you can do instruction delivery. conventional taking classes, teacher taking classes. A second form is using